Told that the only streamers who don't play Ninja Turtle games are the ones who are on some list the FBI says doesn't exist. Quillpig, you got no idea how ironic that is, okay? I'm sitting here looking at a post from the FBI earlier today. Vienna sausages are at Walmart? What does a Vienna sausage actually taste like? Is it like a really shitty hot dog or what? Those who aren't streamers but do play Okay. To be fair, Quillpig, I'm pretty sure I've got a few years on you. I was playing Ninja Turtle games at the arcade and playing on the original Nintendo, the original Ninja Turtles game, probably before you were even born. So, I mean, if all things being fair, I've done my share of Ninja Turtle games. They're essentially the spam of sausage. Oof. Oof. No wonder they're sitting next to the tuna fish. Although I like tuna fish, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, tuna fish, not my favorite, but I'll eat it. It's almost like nothing. It's like a very, very fine chicken and pork sausage, almost like pate. Dude, I've never tried pate. I don't know about pate, man. So, part of the reason, in case you guys are wondering why it's still light outside and I'm streaming, I currently don't have my kids because they're at the in-laws. I have to work tomorrow, so I decided if I was going to stream at all, we were going to get this going a little early. And of course, I'll be out of here probably earlier than usual, so. Very finely ground. Okay, interesting. I am no longer curious about Vienna sausages. I will never... I will never ask again about Vienna sausages. Dude, we have been live for less than 10 minutes. And twice on Kick, we have got Kick bots trying to sell us viewers. Holy shit. See, okay, I know Mahendra is always telling me, oh, don't stream on Twitch, Twitch is evil, it's bad, and I agree. Twitch sucks ass, don't get me wrong. But Kick is worse. I don't know, man. Quill is not wrong. It's like a flavorless, tiny hunk of meat in your mouth. Man, I don't know how I feel about that one. That's quite a description. That's yeah, that's a whole lot of something I wish I had never read. So, speaking of his comment about people who are FBI assets or whatnot, this is pretty funny. I'm only sure about 10 of your Rumble subscribers are real people. The most of the rest are bots. Yeah, no, Rumble is full of them, dude. Yo, Lugia is over in Mexico still. Yo. He didn't read his super chat, so I'm gonna read it for him. It says, "What's up, Minimal? Still on vacation in Guanajuato? I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Huato. Hope you have a good stream. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for the 5, man. Enjoy the rest of your time in Mexico. I'm not sure how long you're there. You worded it that way on purpose. I know you did. I know you did, man. My Espanol is lacking. I am much better with German. Hey, Burner over on the Twatter machine. Why do you have a feather next to your name? I'm trying to figure out what the hell you're typing. That looks like some sort of weird squiggly, some squiggle language I can't understand there. Anyways, guys, let me switch screens real quick. Hang on. Pretty sure every viewer and sub I have on Rumble, except for maybe 2, are all bots and spam lords. Guessing country? Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, my Spanish is more limited than anything else. Well, to be fair, I can pronounce most Spanish words. I just can't actually like understand what I'm saying. Oh, you have the little feather because you're Native American. Okay. That's instead of the little red dot. I got you. All right. Well, yeah, guano, isn't that bat shit? Oh, it says burner in Japanese. Okay. Yeah, one of them squiggle languages, man. No, the funniest thing is knowing that you can actually spell out a lot of Japanese words in English, like phonetically. But then when you try to like look at the actual Japanese letters, it's like, I don't have a clue what I'm looking at. Can I play a song for you? No. No, I cannot. Oh, batshit country. Oh my god. Or no, guano, isn't that just bat? Or is bat shit? I get it, Venge Sevenfold. Yeah. No, 53T Addict on Kick, I cannot play a song for you. Because I stream on everything, YouTube and all that, and I don't play copyrighted music. So, no can do. No. Anyways, guys, so it's really ironic that Quill brought up the FBI because I found this right before I started streaming. It says, from the FBI on Twitter, today we're announcing the seizure and dismantlement of several illicit video game marketplaces. From February to May of this year, there were approximately 3.2 million illicit downloads, and these downloads caused an estimated loss of $170 million. Domo arigato, Mr. Yeah, no, the Dan Tebow thing, that doesn't work. Hey, Neil, how's it going, buddy? I started BioShock last night. I really liked the first hour. Spoopy, though. Yeah, BioShock, I haven't gotten around to finally playing that game yet. But it's in my back catalog. I think I own BioShock 1 and 2, although, own. that ownership of digital games is pretty, it's pretty subjective, right? So anyways, it says that they have there is approximately 3.2 million illicit downloads this year, and these downloads caused an estimated loss of $170 million. That's actually pretty small. Honestly, there are far more games that that studios have lost money on in development, like, again, Concord, or a lot of these games that they said were like $400 to $600 million budgets. So 170 million in lost downloads, illicit downloads, it's actually not that much money. Has the right number of syllables, kiss your ass. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to do that at all, man. Yeah, okay, so of course a lot of my mutuals, a lot of people I follow on Twitter say, oh good, get those video game downloads, while child exploitation downloads are more rampant than ever, abolish the FBI. I think I can agree with that. So it says FBI Atlanta. Oh, let me switch screens for you guys. Hang on a second. FBI Atlanta seizes major video game piracy websites. FBI's Atlanta field office announced today the seizure of several online criminal marketplaces providing pirated versions of popular video games. In addition to the seizure, the FBI has dismantled the infrastructure of these websites. I'm glad our taxpayers or our tax dollars are doing something, right? Considering how many game cores are based overseas, how much of that money would have even come into the US? Probably not much. Probably not. You'll mark off a spot for me I haven't already saved for other folks. I appreciate that. I'm not a germaphobe, but I don't think I want to kiss the same spot everyone else has been kissing. Just saying. Oh, they actually have the domains of several of these ones on here. Okay. Oh, they don't have G2A on here. It says between February and May, records indicate a loss of 3.2 million downloads. That's actually a very low estimate. I imagine it's far, far, far more than that. As part of the actions announced today, the FBI has obtained authorization to seize the domain of multiple sites, including NSW. That's just a bunch of random usernames. These domains hosted and facilitated access to the pirated games. Again, I'm going to go back to a tweet that I had saved for later from the creator of Minecraft, Notch, saying if buying a game is not a purchase, then pirating it isn't theft. And again, I actually buy all my games legally. I don't own a single pirated game. I've never even tried to pirate a game. But I still stick with this being reality. Like, honestly, if you can't own a game that you paid money for, then how is pirating it illegal? How is it a crime? It doesn't make any sense. It's good to see what the FBI thinks is important. Yeah. Why are they trying to police the entire internet? They can't police a single jail cell. Ironic, because although we're not going to really get into it tonight, I figure it's a little... Where'd my webcam go? Why do I not have a webcam here? Apparently, I'm retarded. No worries, Lucia. I appreciate you, man. Enjoy your time in Mexico, buddy. I probably won't be there for another 10 years. I've been there before, but it's been a long time, and it's going to be a long time again. But anyways, dude, be safe. Have a good time. And we'll catch up on the next one. Don't worry. Yeah. So again, the whole Epstein thing with the metadata being changed for the security footage, a minute being cut out of there. Yeah. Apparently, the FBI has bigger issues than solving what exactly happened to Epstein and on that island. So it is what it is, guys. Without going down that slippery slope, it just is what it is. So here's another funny one. I brought up some stuff that I thought was interesting that were pretty like little short snippets. But if you guys remember around the whole Borderlands 4 situation with, of course, the $80 possible price tag and Randy Pitchford bitching out, being like, well, if you can't afford an $80 game, then you're not a real fan. So this game, Mycopunk, I think that's how you pronounce it, put out this tweet back on May 20th saying, you're going to be able to buy Mycopunk for you and 3 of your friends for the price of 1 copy of Borderlands 4. And then they came out today, because today was actually the release day, and said Mycopunk launches today and you can actually buy 4.6 copies of it for the price of 1 Borderlands, which I think is just, again, incredible advertising due to the way that Randy Pitchford reacted. Couldn't show us his list, but damned if they can't show us a list of sites that sell bootleg games. I know, right? Pretty crazy that one of those is okay and the other one's not. Well, dude, I was gonna pull up some of the stuff about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and everything else, but to be honest, I've been awake since 6 o'clock this morning. I have to work tomorrow. Like, I'm so mentally exhausted. That would be a better thing for like a weekend stream, maybe tomorrow night or Sunday. We can kind of go over some of that stuff. It's scary, man. I'm talking like, now you got Bongino after saying, oh yeah, he totally ended his own life. Totally, I've seen it. It was completely, you know, not a conspiracy at all. And then of course you got him and Kash Patel. Apparently they're gonna step down if Pam Bondi doesn't resign or some shit. It's insane. But again, save that for a different night because I'm just too tired to talk about that shit. Couldn't they have shown us? You okay? Couldn't they have shown us where to get free games a full week before they took them down? Dude, that's like that meme. That whole where them hoes at? Like, no, I'm trying to find out where the hoes are at so I can avoid them, honey. I don't want to go near the hoes. So yeah, from Devolver Digital, they shared this, and actually the funny thing is, this game, I don't know a whole lot about it. It kind of looks like Risk of Rain 2 meets a couple of styles of games, but apparently in the game, the text chat, you can actually share GIFs, which I think is fantastic. Oh, here we go. So I got these Bluetooth headphones to wear for when I'm streaming. The problem is when I have Streamlabs open, for some weird reason the audio cuts in and out, like it completely deafens the headphones. I can't hear anything. So for right now I have to stick with the giant headphones, it seems. They tend to publish really good indie games. Yeah, no, it seems like they have a pretty decent catalog, to be honest. So no, this apparently you can actually share GIFs in the text chat on the game. So I'm gonna see if there's anything actually worth listening to here. Okay, I'm gonna grab my webcam here. Hang on a second. Check this out. Oh, hang on, I gotta go full screen. They will go after file sharing Discord servers next. Oh, goody. Well, again, not something I currently host, but wouldn't shock me to see them do that, to be honest. All right, so check this out. This is freaking amazing in my opinion. It's the little things in life, you know? Oh, you don't like the little earbuds? You prefer these gigantic, freaking massive headphones? No, dude, more so the reason I picked them up was because it's really warm in the summertime when I have these damn things on my head. Hey, Remy. And it's easier, like, if I'm ever hopping on somebody else's stream to just have the little earbuds in. But yeah, when I have freaking Streamlabs open, I can't hear anything. It's the weirdest thing. Did it restart? Ah, restarted. Anyways, I think that's pretty freaking awesome. I don't know. Maybe I am easily amused or something, but I think that's a W right there. I don't know. I like it. This is a good one. So again, without being like super political, because I know that there's people who are going to be on different sides of the whole stuff with immigration and ICE and all that. But apparently, Kotaku has decided, since being sold to a different conglomerate, that they're just gonna like double down on the politicization of in the video game industry, and of course all the stuff that they're covering. Yeah, no, so Nil, apparently you can do GIFs in that game. I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think those little kind of features I find freaking amazing. But again, I'm easily amused. So Kotaku put this article out earlier today. It says help fight ICE and get 100 games and over 400 tabletop RPGs. We've highlighted a few suggestions of what to check out in this enormous selection. First, they have no water for fires, now no ice in the summer, failed state. Dude, it's amazing the way my timeline works. So, earlier today, I saw somebody talking to Gavin Newsom that I think is Ryan Sean is his name. He's like some former veteran. I don't know. He's interviewed a bunch of people. He has a podcast. And so he had Gavin Newsom on. And I think they're trying to humanize Gavin Newsom because they want him to run for president in 2028. And so, apparently, the people at Sig Sauer, the pistol company, gave Ryan, I think his name's Ryan Sean, or Sean Ryan, or whatever his name is. They gave the dude with the podcast a Sig Sauer pistol, a macro California compliant pistol, to give to Gavin Newsom as a present for some weird reason. I don't know. And then later in the day on my Twitter feed, I saw how apparently Sig Sauers have a tendency to just go off randomly on their own. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. Yes, new scum, exactly. Ice is great in a beverage and for keeping the country cool. Fair enough, fair enough. One of the better things to have occurred in recent years is the rise of the itch.io protest bundles. Millions of dollars have been raised for various vital causes through the generosity of developers, throwing in games by their hundreds in deals that have done incredible work to not only make money, but also generate noise about these issues. The latest already at 40,000 after a day is No Ice in California, where $10 will get you an astonishing 560 games. 427 of which are tabletop RPGs. Oh boy. I bet that these are absolutely incredible games, too. Other recent itch fundraisers have included 2020's Bundle for Racial Justice and Equality. Oh my god, I have to see this one. What is this? What is this? 700 plus games for $5 to support racial. California is like my state of Washington, 10 round mag limits, which sucks ass. And then we cannot. So it's weird. I went into one of my local gun stores after the magazine and AR-15. Well, it wasn't just an AR-15 ban. There was also bans on different types of shotguns, all sorts of stuff that went into this, right? And I guess you can still purchase semi-automatic rifles, but there are circumstances around how you have to purchase them. It's really strange. Yeah, the George Floyd fund, basically. Anyone see the new Superman bomb? Dude, I don't care to go see Superman in theaters. I have no opinion on it. It could be great or it could be ass, and basically, depending on who you ask, it's one or the other. There are people who are like, well, it's not a serious movie, but it's exactly what I want from a Superman movie. And then there are people who say, oh, it's dog shit, don't waste your time watching it. Some say it's the best since Christopher Reeves. I don't know. For me personally, man, I just don't care. It's whatever. Indie game store itch.io has put together a massive bundle containing 742 indie games worth over $3,400 and is selling the whole thing. So this is funny. Racial justice and equality, but games that I'm sure are made by black people, they sell in a bundle of almost 750 games for $5. That doesn't seem very equal, in my opinion. The plot twist is a kick in the nuts to people who love the older movies and comics. Well, I watched the older movies as a kid. I wasn't like obsessed with Superman as a character. And so for me personally, it's like, well, again, not being a comic book reader growing up, I don't really have any like strong ties to any one storyline for Superman, or he has to be done a certain way. For example, like I think Batman having a no-kill rule is stupid, personally. I prefer characters like the Punisher. I mean that's just looking at it more with the way that I look at the world, I would understand a superhero or a hero, a vigilante, looking at the situation going, you know, I'm not going to get myself or somebody else killed because I have this no-kill policy, you know? Superman 2025, normies enjoy it or like it, hardcore DC fans mostly hate it. Well, yeah, because I saw that Nerdrotic, and he had a comic book store, so he's a comic book guy. I saw that he hated it. Kada said it was good for what it was, but it was for kids, basically. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that James Gunn made a movie for kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, so the movie's not supposed to be woke. It's not supposed to have any sort of like political agenda or anything. Despite the campaign for it, the press campaign being like, "Oh, he's an immigrant and we love our immigrants." It sounds like it had nothing to do with that, to be honest. Oh, so here's another one. Apparently, Halo collector's edition, or what is CE? What did CE stand for? It wasn't collector's edition. It was crap. I own the damn thing, and I can't remember what it stands for. Will only feature a campaign mode, apparently. Which, to be honest, I don't hate. Dude, honestly, though, I don't even think it matters. Combat Evolved. Wait. Was the first one really called Halo CE? I remember the Combat Evolved on the cover. I don't remember it saying CE. Dude, I'm tired as shit. Holy crap. OG Batman carried a pistol in the original comics. The no-kill policy was added into the Batman lore in the mid to late 70s. Oh, interesting. Yeah, thanks, Oblivion. For some weird reason, I could not remember that they called the game Combat Evolved, and I can see it right now on the cover of my first title of Halo that I owned. I'm just like, I never remember. I thought CE was like for the like collector's edition, like when they did the I don't know, the remaster, I guess you could call it. Interesting. Okay. He's a naturalized citizen. He was adopted. Look, here, my take on the whole thing, Remy, he's a superhero. It doesn't matter. If you're going to tell me that every person who crosses the border illegally is going to have superpowers, put on a cape and spandex, fly around the world, fighting bad guys and doing good, then I think we'd all be okay with those kind of illegal immigrants everywhere. Like, if that's your argument, then I don't think anybody would have a problem with it. Not to mention you couldn't stop them because they're superhuman. But it's a comic book. It's not real life. Wait, you've never liked Halo PvP? It's like Flintstones pedaling a car. But dude, back in the day, playing it like the original Halo, there I don't know. The first Halo and Halo 2 for multiplayer I thought were awesome. New information from Reliable Insider reveals that Halo CE Remake will not feature a multiplayer mode and will be campaign only. It doesn't matter. People either play the Master Chief Collection on Game Pass or on Windows or whatever, or they don't. It's that simple. So I don't know that that's even that big of a deal, to be honest. And Halo is in such a bad state, I can't even imagine people are going to care about this. I can't, dude, honestly, I would not be surprised if the Halo remake, I'm not going to say flops or bombs, but if it doesn't do well. Let's just say that. Oh, Blood Gulch was freaking awesome, man. Holy crap. Playing Capture the Flag on Blood Gulch. Dude, that was like, I was like, what, 13 at the time, I think? Crazy. What are the chances they port Halo to Switch? Very good. I would say very good. Dude, you guys saw they put Helldivers on Xbox, or to come into Xbox. They're putting, what's going to PlayStation? Stalker. Stalker 2 is going to PlayStation. Exclusivity, aside from Nintendo, doesn't exist anymore. And personally, I don't care. This is that whole console war bullshit that I no longer get into. All these people who are like, oh, why did I buy a PlayStation if my Sony games aren't going to be exclusive? I don't know, that's on you. If you like the look of the PlayStation and you have some sort of weird brand loyalty to Sony or Microsoft or whatever, and that's just what you like, more power to you. I don't care, that's fine. But it's just weird when people complain about, like, for example, if I heard that, some of my favorite Nintendo games were going to be available on Steam, I wouldn't be pissed off at Nintendo that I bought a Nintendo Switch for my kids years ago. I'd be like, hey, one more way of playing the game, Gears of War, for me personally, is an acquired taste. I've played a couple of the games. It's just, I don't know. For me, third-person shooters have to either scratch that itch perfectly or I just don't really care about them. And Gears of War, for some weird reason, I never liked the combat. Superman's not an immigrant as they attempted to portray him. He's by definition a foundling, an orphan that seems to have no known origin that is taken in by adoptive parents. Well, and DB, can we be a little blunt and a little honest? He's in they find him in like Iowa, right? Some cornfield or whatever. I mean, without being too, crass, he's a white alien from a planet of humans who look just like us, and he gets adopted by a white family in a predominantly white area of a state. So it's not like you took some child that is like black as night from Ethiopia or something, or from Japan or China or something, and drop him in the middle of like white rural America. He kind of fit right in, which again kind of goes back to the idea of assimilation too. So it's not just about I don't know. See, guys, I'm too tired to have intelligent thoughts right now. This is just too much. Yeah, no, a lot of people love Gears of War. For me personally, like I said, I finished 1 or 2 of the campaigns. I just didn't really. He doesn't look just like us. He literally looks like the perfect human. Except when he's Clark Kent, he looks like a dweeb. Come on. The only issue I have is when people conflate immigrants with illegal immigrants because, everyone's family was once an immigrant. Right. Oh, God, Oblivion. My God. That Lakota retard guy on Twitter was too much today. He's got me blocked. I can't even comment on his shit. But he's like, you guys were immigrants to my country and you came here and gave us your filthy white man diseases. And it's like, dude, y'all were killing each other and stealing each other's women and murdering and raping each other before we got here. Like, I don't want to hear about this. There's a difference where you can look at the world now and say, the civilized world no longer tries to conquer each other, breed with their women, genetically breed out other parts of society. We don't do that kind of shit anymore. But it took years and years and centuries to get to this point. I'm not going to feel sorry for a society that was conquered hundreds of years ago when that's how the world works. A lot of the Halo CE maps were great and sadly never revisited. Yeah, no, there was a map, I want to say, in Halo 2 that was very similar to Blood Gulch. Might have been a little bit bigger. It just didn't have the same, as much as I loved Halo 2, it didn't have the same vibe. It didn't have the same appeal to it for some reason. The whole thing about Superman is that he's a better human than the humans. Well, sure. I mean, they do that a lot in pretty much every version of the Superman movies. Is like, oh, he's the best of us. And it's like, well, he's not really of us. He's Superman and we're human. So there is that, obviously. Stupid take that he had. There are fair criticisms, but that was then. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I don't want to live in the world that we lived in centuries ago where people are constantly being, like, rounded up and murdered and executed and, like I said, bred out of society by the whole, like, friggin' prima nocta thing in Braveheart was like, oh, okay, if we can't kill them, we'll just outbreed them, But at the same time, that's just the way the world worked, unfortunately. Nothing you can do about it. You can't change the way the world functioned for centuries or millennia. Most Native Americans were the first border jumpers. Most came from what is now South America, seeking new lands away from the Aztecs, Incas, and Mayans. Yeah, let's talk about the natives and all the shit they did. Child sacrifice, human sacrifice, playing soccer with human heads, torture, all sorts of shit. It's like, no. Apparently white Europeans were the only ones who ever did anything evil, I guess. I don't know. Not saying they didn't. I mean, look at the Dark Ages. We came up with some pretty fantastic ways to kill each other. So, I saw this yesterday, and I was going to try to include this in my video I put out last night, but there was just too much, and I kind of wanted to focus mainly on pirate software in that video. But I guess Stop Killing Games is getting more pushback from Video Games Europe, this advocacy lobbying group. Apparently they put out this new document, a 5-page document. In fact, I downloaded the damn thing. I don't even know if it's... Oh god, this is really bright. Apparently I don't have dark mode when I'm looking at PDFs. But again, it says the Video Games Europe Manifesto 2024 to 2029... Oh, this is just the manifesto. This isn't the same document. Okay, different one. Apparently I don't have that one. Never mind. So it says they have released a 5-page document doubling down on its stance against the Stop Killing Games initiative, expanding on a previous statement that they had released days prior. Okay, we all already know. First introduced by YouTuber Cursed Farms. It says on July 7th, they published a short statement on its website saying that private servers are not always a viable option for players, and it would leave rights holders liable, which is a stupid argument. Arguing that the proposals laid out by Stop Killing Games would curtail developer choice by making these video games prohibitively expensive to create. Oh, the light. Honestly, I know. I agree. Unfortunately, for people who play on computer, it's just not the easiest or most affordable way to do it. I mean, look, I didn't buy anything the Steam Summer Sale, but I had like 5 things in my cart that I forgot to pick up, thankfully, because I didn't need them, you know? But it just, I feel like we've gone so far away from even owning physical discs that a lot of games are not going to have physical distribution at all. So you could just buy games that are released physically, and if they don't require internet access to actually play, because a lot of the time you have those problems where you have the day one patches and everything else that are required to even get the game to work, you know? There's a lot more to it. I agree with you, always buy physical if you can, but unfortunately, there's other circumstances that have an effect on it, you know? You bought a couple of physical cards through Amazon Prime Day discounts. Yeah, you gotta be careful with those Prime Day discounts. I got these little Bluetooth headphones I was saying about using for when I stream or whatever, and I got those for a decent price. They were normally $100. Well, they always have them marked down to $80. For Prime Day, they were down to $50, which was the price of the non-noise canceling ones before Prime Day. So for me, those were actually, you know, it's called rules of nature, be conquered or defend yourself from being conquered. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Tucker, what are you doing? Why is he going crazy? What the hell? Oh, the boy's calling me. You may have him call you?
Yeah.
Hey, Monk, call mom's phone. Alright, bye. My kids are having a sleepover at the in-laws, and so my oldest kid's calling me probably to say goodnight. Snagged a handful of games from GOG in their sales, and I back up all my GOG install files onto jump drive. See, that's the way to do it. Yeah, no, game prices, like I said, it just honestly, it depends on if you're paying attention to the prices or not, you know? Taking the line of less civilized people, despite how cruel it may seem, is simply part of being human. Nay, being an animal seeking survivable. God, I can't read right now. Holy crap, I'm tired. It's more animalistic in nature. Yeah, no, like I said, I understand that's just the way the world has worked. It's just, you can't change that, you know? So they released that statement now today that says, on July 10th, VGE expanded on this argument, releasing a 5-page PDF. I don't want to go through 5 pages of this shit. My God. All right, it says Video Games Europe. The video games industry is committed to consistently providing players with high-quality interactive gaming experiences. No, they're not. Online services are multifaceted and never taken lightly. The document explains the reasons why a video game company may decide to discontinue functionality. We already know these things. Unlike a book or a film, an online video game is not a static work. See, they're really focused on this online video game thing. But maybe if we stop making all video games have to be connected to the internet, the problem will be solved right there. When do companies stop producing physical game discs for PC? I would imagine around the same time Steam got popular. It's a convenience thing. And that goes back to the argument people always make about, well, you know, video games used to cost $80 when they were brand new also, but it's like, yes, but they were ready to go day one. They didn't require a day one patch. They didn't have bugs and messes. They had physical distribution. You could buy them. This is prior to the internet. You go to a physical store, a brick and mortar, and you could pick it up, you know, day one. So again, in that gigantic, you know, switch from physical distribution to digital, somehow the prices didn't come down, you know? Yeah, they are few and far between. Yep. Around the time WoW put out Wrath of the Lich King. You know, I don't play WoW, but I know that name, and that's been a long time ago. I lived in the CD, DVD, VHS era, and let me tell you, it sucked. This era is best if only these pesky corpos were less greedy. Yeah, you know, Matt Adam, here's the thing. I remember, and to be honest, my mom still has them somewhere in storage. of our boxes of hundreds of VHS tapes, right? Some that we taped off TV or whatever, and a lot of them that we bought at the store or whatever. But there is a nostalgia. There's a bit of nostalgia to being able to go back and watch things on DVD, on VHS, or whatever. It is a convenience thing, right? It is convenience, and unfortunately, the pesky anti-consumer corporations are always going to be the thing that ruins it for everybody else. It's like how anytime you have like, look at the Carnival Cruise thing where they can't get people to stop bringing their own speakers and fans and acting crazy and shit, right? A small group of people are always going to ruin it for the rest of everyone else, you know? Does modern WoW have millennial writing? From what I've seen. From what I've seen of it, yeah. Let's see. Online video games evolve over time after the initial release, providing consumers with regular new content. We don't need new content, experiences, patches, and updates. We need games that don't require internet connection. Video game companies put significant investment into creating and developing the best interactive entertainment. The right to decide how, when, and for how long to make an online game service is available to players is vital in justifying this cost and fostering continued technical innovation. As rights holders and economic entities, video games companies must remain free to decide when an online game is no longer commercially viable. That's not the point. Again, it goes back to the idea that you put it out there so people can host private servers and play the game at their own risk, right? All video games, whether digital or physical copies, are licensed, as is the case with virtually all digital works when consumers purchase online games, regardless of the country of sale. What they acquire is a personal license to access and play the copy of the game they've purchased in accordance with the game's terms of service. The consumer does not acquire ownership of that video game. These clear intellectual property rights underpin the entire market and enable the strong investment that the industry has seen for decades. There's no legal uncertainty about the status quo of video games. Basically, this is them coming straight out and saying, F you guys, you don't own your games. They're pulling a Ubisoft right here. Sounds like the French are at it again. Yeah. Yeah, the 13%. Rachel Dolezal. Oh yeah, big shout out to the 13% crew. You guys are doing 50% of the work. Oh my god. That TikTok group. I guess it was like a cameo thing that she did. Didn't realize what she was saying. Exactly which people. I'm not. You already know, man. They ain't got a ninja in my house to steal it. No, and the thing is, they're not going to physically come to people's houses and make them break their discs and throw them in the fireplace and stuff. It's just the threat of it, right? But again, I just love that in this argument about online video games, they switch gears and go, oh, by the way, you know that all those games, even if you own them physically, that's not actually yours, right? It's not clear what the initiators of the Stop Killing Games petition seek to achieve as a legal change. Holy shit. Talk about being disingenuous. It appears to be a combination of a requirement to provide online services for as long as a consumer wants them, no, regardless of price paid, and or a requirement to provide a very specific form of end-of-life plan where the game is altered to enable private servers to operate. We do not believe these are proportionate demands. Stop making all games have to connect to the internet to play. Stop making games have to get a day one patch. Release finished products that don't require the internet to play. Why don't they ever try that, you know? Online video games are complex operations. Again, it's not just about online games. Holy shit. Hey, Patriot. They offer interactive features that are supported by multiple servers, enabling functionality of ever-increasing complexity. This is integral to the modern gameplay experience that players expect. As consumer expectations for more engaging and evolving content increases, these online features are increasingly becoming intertwined in the overall gameplay experience, as opposed to being limited. They're saying, you know, we want to have our storefront and make our money while we can, and that we don't want to tell people that we owe them anything when we shut it down. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, release finished products. Dude, I don't understand this. When Zav Hunter, when he was here in the chat last stream talking about the Cycle of Frontier, whatever the hell that name of the game was called, I think he said that he spent like $300 in the game. $300. And just like that, the game disappeared because the game, it flopped, it bombed. And he just never got his money back. It was just gone, right? But again, he doesn't own anything. He doesn't own anything. They don't owe him anything. They can take all of his money and give him nothing in return. Best example of keeping a game alive, even after the official servers for Ultima Online went down. A handful of players got together, got the licensing from Lord British, then owned by EA, and set up servers of their own to revitalize the game. Yeah, Nintendo bricked a Switch 2 from somebody who was playing a used game, allegedly. I haven't looked into that. I know Frittata, he did. I gotta stop calling him, it's Frittanga. Ever since Sungrand Studio gave him the name of Frittata, and he started going by Frittata on Twitter, I just call him Frittata now. But ever since Frit, we'll just call Frittanga Frit. He's been, oh my god, he's been mining the salt of Nintendo for like the last month. It's been crazy to watch. But yeah, apparently there was somebody who had a used cartridge that they bought secondhand, and their Switch 2 got bricked, I guess. I don't know. Like with Anthem, I loved Anthem, found it enjoyable, even though I generally don't like that type of game. There's no reason that they shouldn't be able to be a single-player game. And again, this is the part that they're intentionally misrepresenting, the same thing that Thor did, is they're not saying go back and make every game that's ever existed compatible with playing offline, make a single play, like, you know, make every game that's ever existed a single player mode. They're not saying that. They're saying in the future, this requirement to be able to be played only through the internet and servers existing is bullshit. And this is honestly, like, when you see single player games a lot of times kicking the ass of multiplayer or live service games, this is why. Because a single player game, even if you don't own it, again, they like to throw that verbiage out there just like Ubisoft, even if you don't own it, there's nothing wrong with having a physical copy and a digital copy, so Nintendo didn't like that, I guess. Apparently. Didn't the EU pass a law requiring all in-game currency that was exchangeable with real currency to tell you how much real money it was before you spend it? Something. There have been a lot of consumer advocacy groups in the EU the last couple of years going after Ubisoft, going after a lot of other the companies that have been heavily monetizing their games and trying to create safeguard. Here's the thing. They do it under the guise of protecting children from gambling and stuff, and I think that's ass. I think it's garbage. Again, as a parent, your job is to protect your kids from what they do online, what they purchase, and if they get a hold of your credit card, that's on you, and it's like, come on. But I do respect the idea that they're trying to protect consumers. I just hate it when they use the excuse of protecting the kids. He smashed it, a video on it that he was unbanned, but Nintendo is on the warpath. It's all BS. They hate us. Well, and the thing about that is, okay. The thing about that is I don't know if this is something that's going to be an ongoing thing for Nintendo, but just like everyone else, if you have to call customer service for any of these companies, you're not going to get a hold of anybody, right? So the user who had a family account on his Switch 2 and his sister changed her name to Twink Link, which again I think is freaking hilarious, and apparently it went against Nintendo's terms of service and they bricked the console. They didn't brick it to the point that they couldn't play offline games, but they bricked their ability to actually connect to the internet and to access the online servers. So any game that required the internet, any game that was on their account that they purchased digitally, those were all gone. They could still play physical cartridges that they owned, but that was it. Customer service couldn't do shit for them. So it's like, even if in one circumstance you get a hold of somebody at customer service who can do something, you're not going to have every person who's legitimately getting screwed over getting their problem solved by, you know, waiting on hold for an hour, 2 hours, a week of emailing back and forth with customer service. Customer service is garbage these days. It doesn't exist. The Switch bricking was able to be reversed by this buyer of the used game reaching out to Nintendo, improving the purchase was legit from a secondhand marketplace. But okay, so what is legit now? Are they going to consider, you know, box stores legit, but someone selling their game secondhand on eBay not legit? Like, how does that even work? Yeah, not having to fight the government too would be great. Why don't we get rid of the live service entirely if they can just murder the game anytime? See, I'm all for that. The light, I'm right there with you. Here with Neon, we could bring back cartridges, 1 terabyte games. Dude, I need to get another. Guys, this Amazon Prime Day has been complete ass. The whole Prime sale was garbage. Like I said, there was a couple things legitimately that I picked up that were a decent price. I got a microphone for at work for when I'm recording videos there that for my secondary channel. That's going to be better than my old blue Snowball that I have, but not as nice as like the Hyper Quadcast that I've got here. But I bought that directly from the manufacturer of the microphone because Amazon was no cheaper, and I actually got a Amazon Prime Day deal through the manufacturer's website because everybody was doing like the Black Friday and July shit because of it. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. You'll own nothing and beg to give us your money. Yeah, basically, that's exactly the way they act. The slippery slope Nintendo's falling down. They're proving more and more day by day that they're very anti-consumer. Right, that's the problem. Well, Matt Adam, think about it this way. We've got YouTube allegedly screwing with your computer if you're using ad blocker and watching YouTube, with reports that I don't know if they were saying that they were bricking people's GPUs or just overloading their CPUs, like making the computer work 10 times harder than it has to, which could cause fatal errors in your computer, obviously. And then you've got Nintendo bricking systems digitally. Like, the whole thing is insane. Dude, local co-op would be the best. I loved playing multiplayer, like split screen Halo, not even gonna lie, because I could screen watch while I was playing and it pissed people off who couldn't. Yeah, you know, the funny thing, there are some live service games that I still enjoy. Thinking about it, like, technically, Starship Troopers Extermination, that game is a live service game. But I don't view it the same way as like the games that are like Apex Legends or Call of Duty, the ones that are making bank, selling thousands of dollars to certain people on skins and cosmetics and all sorts of shit. Can YouTube do that for Brave Browser? I don't know. So I tend to use Brave Browser for most things except for like editing on like Canva and stuff. And for Google searching, because Brave Browser's searching function is retarded. So I'll use Chrome for searching and for Canva, and that's about it. I watch YouTube if I'm on my computer and I actually have YouTube brought up. I'll watch it on Brave and it doesn't seem to have an issue. But Brave is better than, I don't know, like Firefox or some other ones too. Player safety, of course, again, just like the whole protect the kids, you have to protect the players. Reduced or no player protection. Requiring games to run on private servers would result in the inability for games companies to continue to protect players from illegal or harmful conduct, as their moderation and player safety teams would no longer be involved. In particular, cheating could become more rampant without proper enforcement. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, with less regulations and less involvement from these scumbags, hacking and cheating would probably go down. I'm not even kidding. Because the desire to hack and cheat would go down. Because you'd have less people doing it just to thumb their nose at the mega corporation. You'd have less people, again, if DRM was stopped being a thing, you'd have less people trying to crack games. I don't know. I feel like a lot of that is pushback due to the heavy moderation that exists. Oblivion, you could be right about that, about it being intentionally straining someone's computer being illegal. But again, I don't know if that's been a verified thing or not. I've seen people cover it on YouTube videos. I've seen people talk about it online. I don't know if it's a legitimately proved thing. Why is the EU being a helicopter parent? Because that's the European Union, okay? And I can't fault them because it's the same way that American government is too. Same with Canadians, same with pretty much any Western government. They're all helicopter parents. But it makes me very much not a fan of the EU, more than I already wasn't, you know? Firefox requires a couple add-ons, but yeah, Brave is pretty good with the ad blocking. They really are. So it says, the absence of effective moderation would create a less safe environment for consumers and may foster the proliferation of undesirable content while simultaneously frustrating the ability for EU digital services coordinators to act against such content. This not only presents a safety risk for consumers, but also could lead to brand reputation issues for the video games industry or company. So they're saying, we can't protect you if you don't let us protect you. What's YouTube doing that news for me? I need to look into this because I'm never just going to watch any ads again. Using everything in power to stop them. Yeah. We pretty much live in a corporate-owned government. Politicians are sleazier than ever. Darn near dystopian. It certainly feels that way. We even have thoughts in Congress. Yeah, on both sides. We got thoughts on the right wing and the left wing. I got a whole bunch of them I can't stand. Significant engineering and architectural challenges. Negative impact on investment in games. Our poor money, reputational harm, blah, blah, blah. Again, we can't let people mod the game to do certain things that we don't like. Even though, if we say, look, we're taking the game offline, we're going to open up the source code or however this shit works to let you guys host the servers yourselves, you know, make the game viable to be played single player, you know, locally on your network or whatever, that's great. But we're not responsible for content you see in the game. How is that reputational harm? How could that possibly negatively impact the company that made the game? You've seen no change in GPU RAM or whatever usage. So DB Wild, that might have just been a completely bogus claim. I don't know. Like I said, I'd never reported on it because I didn't know that if it was legitimate or not. I had no idea. Impact on intellectual property rights. Blah, blah, blah. Again, I don't even care about their intellectual property rights, because if you're telling me that people can spend hundreds of dollars on a game, physically or digitally, and you can tell them, F you don't own it anyways, then I don't care about your intellectual property rights. I don't give a shit. Yeah, constraints from third-party services, blah, blah, blah. They make this stuff so boring to read. So this is the kind of stuff that if I was going to take the time to make a video on it, I would read through it line by line and just want to punch my head through a wall. They'd never allow you to mod out the pride flags. The flags are the whole point of the game. Yeah, I mean, you guys saw that Dragon Age Velguard won the gamer, or is it gaming? GAYMING. It won gaming or gamer or whatever game of the year. It's like, okay, well, we know what you were judging the game on, what criteria you were looking at. Video game companies are committed to the preservation of games and their cultural value. No, you're not, because you guys are always censoring everything. Well, there are a lot of other sites besides Nexus Mods that are trying to get their feet, trying to get going, trying to get on their feet, trying to, get off the ground. Akira Mods, Ayaka Mods, I can't remember what the name of it is. You've got DEG Mods. There's a few of them. There are other sites that exist. There was one that I was in talks to do a sponsored video on, and that just kind of fizzled out. I lost interest in trying to make the ad and everything else. And personally, the app didn't seem that functional, so I just kind of was like, whatever. But there are other ones out there. Are you gaming as me? Yes. You used to jokingly call yourself a gamer and then became a thing that you loathe. Ayaka, there you go. Yeah, no, Patriot, honestly, I get that. I understand that a lot of people who didn't used to, quote unquote, identify. For example, I would have never 20 years ago called myself a gamer. Oh yeah, guys, I'm a gamer. Now it's like you get all these cringe, well, 10 years ago it was all the cringe people going, oh yeah, I'm a gamer girl, this and that. Then it's like now gamer is bad, so I don't know. It's PR boring speaking, you know why? Exactly, yeah. Okay, let's see. So Stop Killing Games. Stop Killing Games is currently up to 1,321,332. This is unfortunate, guys, because I don't think we're going to hit the 1.4 million mark. Let me go to the actual. Let me do this. Stop Killing Games. Had the tracker. So when this was currently blowing up, when all the videos about this were skyrocketing, signatures were flying in left and right, this was on track to get 4 million signatures by July 31st. 4 million. It's now estimated to get about 40,000 more than it currently has. That's it. So for the rest of the month, for the next 20 days, it's only going to get 40,000 signatures. Don't you guys have cell phones? Yeah, that's Blizzard for you. So unfortunately, whatever like momentum this had, the secondary boost that it got, once it crossed the finish line, either everybody that was interested in it or had heard about it had signed it, or people just gave up. Maybe there might be a last 24-hour, last minute, boost in signatures. I don't know. Still don't think most people are gamers. We're all just folks who play games. We don't say moviers. No, but there are people who consider themselves like movie aficionados. People who, I watch. Think about the line off The Office. I've watched over 400 movies or some shit that Andy says, right? Really funny because, like I said, my parents owned like 400 just on VHS. Saying Pirate Software needs to make another video. No, I don't know. I think, honestly, Mad Adam, I think at this point, the people that really cared have signed it. And maybe in a couple of weeks, when this starts to come to a close, I'm sure Cursed Farms will make a video with one big last push. I'll cover it. Channels far bigger than mine will cover it. We'll probably get a few 100,000 more. It's kind of, I feel like this will end at probably about 1.6 million. But it should have been 2 million. It should have been 2.4, 2.5, I don't know. Yeah, gamers were definitely more, like you said, TTRPGs, yes. OG gamer girls were the nerdy, weird, cute ones who also played games like D&D. Yeah. Cinephiles. There's the word for you. Thank you. That's what I was trying to figure out. That's the word I was looking for. There was a term people would use, much like foodies. Yeah, no, exactly. Cinephiles, foodies, that kind of shit. So, interestingly enough, I had seen, and this is one of those things that, if I had mentioned this guy's name a couple months ago, I would have been like, people would be throwing rocks at me. I don't know. You guys might still. Some of you might. Not Notch. But I saw Daniel Vavra, because despite Daniel Vavra's involvement with making Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 not as good as it could have been, choices he made trying to appease everybody or appease nobody, I don't even know at this point what to call it. I saw that he'd shared this back in June, and it was from the European Parliament. Now, mind you, Daniel Vavra is in Europe, and the European Parliament had tweeted out, on the International Day of Countering Hate Speech, MEPs adopted a resolution on recent developments on the rule of law. Parliament has once again asked for hate crimes and hate speech to be criminalized at EU level, saying hate speech is a threat to democracy. Daniel Vavra, obviously, whether you like him or hate him or think he's woke or whatever, again, what happened with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, he very much doesn't like the government. One of the major redeeming factors this man has is he hates the government. Says European Parliament is a serious threat to freedom of speech, and freedom of speech is the cornerstone of democracy. Freedom of speech is about being able to say even what someone doesn't want to hear. So European Parliament is a threat to democracy. Again, I agree. I think that's a very, very base statement, for lack of a better word. What counts as hate speech? Whoever is determining it. Okay, that's the way it works, right? Whoever is the one in control determines what hate speech is. So I figured, why not one shot, ask him what his thought is on the whole stop killing games thing, right? So July 8th, so a couple weeks later, I'm like, hey, if you don't mind talking about it, I'm curious what your take is on the Stop Killing Games initiative. He responded and said, well, I hate everything as a service, corporate exploit of customers, but I also hate regulations. The market is able to solve it. It takes time, but a good example is Adobe and their new competition, Affinity. So if you guys don't know, Adobe versus Affinity, Adobe is a subscription service, much like Canva and everything else that you can use, whereas Affinity is a one-time purchase, which you don't see for a lot of software these days. So again, he's taking more of the approach that Pirate Software tried to take, and I think was an admirable thing to say, as in, I don't like government regulations, I don't want the government getting involved in video games. I think that that's a perfectly fine statement to make. I think Pirate Software had every right to say that. The problem is he's also in the past made statements about how stop killing games is wasting lawmakers' time. He'll on one hand, he'll be like, oh yeah, totally libertarian, screw the government, I hate lawmakers, no regulations. And then he's like, why are you trying to waste these poor lawmakers' time? Don't you know being a lawmaker is a hard job? It's like, which one is it, man? Which one is it, right? What accounts as hate speech, and if there is the core of the problem? Yeah, exactly. They really tried to transpose the existing poor image onto the video games. Yeah. So again, I think that that's a fair argument to make. My counter to that, though, for anybody saying it gives the EU too much power, is you're not understanding that places like Video Games Europe has been around for, what, 4 years now? They've been in the ear of the EU this entire time. They have the money, they have the backing. They're making policy by lobbying the EU. So you're not asking the EU to make more laws and more regulations. You're asking the EU to stop being anti-consumer. That's all this is. You're not trying to get the EU to suddenly like regulate the hell out of everything. You're trying to get them to say, hey, tell all these companies, and of course Embracer Group, Warhorse Studio, Daniel Vavra, it's part of it. That's why I'm kind of like taking what he said with a grain of salt. I can understand it and I agree to some extent, but again, always have to be careful how much you take somebody at their word, right?
Thank you very much, sir.
It's one of those unfortunate situations where people can say a lot of nice things, a lot of flowery language, but it's not always going to, it's not always going to work out the way that it sounds. Lady of Boredom, that's a fantastic name. You've never heard of Affinity? I loathe giving Adobe any money. They always get more than I intend for getting a canceled subscription. You know, my wife has been asking about getting an Adobe subscription for a while, and I don't think that she's ever managed to like actually need it. She wanted it for a while, but she hasn't actually gotten around to it. That wasn't Pirate's take. That was take was assembled for Pirate after he shoved his foot down his own throat. No, but I know, but Quillpig, the thing is, he has said things in the past about being anti-government, anti-restrictions, anti-regulation, which again, that tickles my small L libertarian funny bone. But again, it's not a take that he started from originally. You're right. It's one that's, I think, evolved over time. And again, out of his own mouth, he's come out and attacked Stop Killing Games for wanting to waste lawmakers' time. So, going back to what Daniel Vavra said about the market correcting itself, right? About the market eventually shifting away from live service to games that are complete packages, like how they're trying to have Affinity competing with Adobe. Again, one-time purchase versus subscription model, right? Yeah, he says we'll get him more. Well, Quillpig, he better start saying something different because he's lost over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's Affinity is an excellent alternative to Adobe. It's a one-time license buy for 3 major software tools. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So, prime example, Steel Hunters, a game that is closing down after 3 months of early access. Okay, I had never even heard of this game. Had never even heard of it. But on one hand, you have this argument about, should they be allowed to close the game down? Should there be a way to preserve it offline? Yes, I think there should be. If someone wants to host a private server for this, so the game can be preserved in its playable state. Again, the Stop Killing Games initiative, that's part I definitely agree with. And on the flip side, I think that this is also true to what Daniel Vavra said about the market correcting, where these companies like Sony that have doubled and tripled down on saying that they're going to continue making live service games are going to have to realize people are getting fed up with them. Sure, there's money in them at the moment, but I think that money's drying up. And of course, Marek Tominsky, CI Games, Lords of the Fallen, he recently tweeted out that he thinks a lot of the, let's just say, more woke developers, because there are certainly, it's not just, community managers, it's not just, people that run social media accounts or the narrative directors and stuff. A lot of developers too have a political or ideological bias. That just happens to exist. That's a real thing. People who make games are going to be politically right, left, center, all over the place. So he was claiming that a lot of live service games are the ones that have more woke developers working on them. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how you would gauge whether or not a developer is woke, because again, the developer who's just writing lines of code doesn't make all the decisions in the game if he's just working for somebody else. That goes like above his head. At the same time, I do think that there is a propensity where you see a lot of these live service games that have the pride celebrations, that have the trans color schemes, and they have, again, all the social justice crap crammed into them, whereas single player games, things that are not games as a service, don't have that kind of shit in them, right? DaVinci Resolve. See, I use Canva, and the only reason I use PixArt is because PixArt has a font that I like that I can't find in Canva. That's about the extent of it. More and more artists are switching to Linux and programs. Dude, Linux, I would love to make a computer and put Linux as the operating system. I'm just like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I would have to spend months and months watching videos on how to do that, because again, you have to add all those pieces in after the fact. So again, tying into this whole thing with live service games being a market's going to decide whether or not they're going to be successful or not, that doesn't get rid of the fact that, again, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they're all making games that require the internet to work, that they're going to, again, be helicopter parents and police all of your activities online, right? Well, just talking about the market correcting itself, games like this, like Mecha Break, by the way, Mecha Break, when the demo came out, I thought the game legitimately was fun, okay? I haven't played it since then. I played the demo, and then I played the beta, I believe it was, that came out a few months ago. And I legitimately thought it was a good game. I thought the gameplay was fun. I thought it leaned heavily into, again, oh, here's boobs, here's ass, buy our game, right? Which tends to get a little exhausting after a while. But in general, I thought the combat of the game, I thought the actual playable part of the game was a lot of fun. Just came out, free to play. The game is getting destroyed in the reviews because once again, it is all loaded full of microtransactions, like through and through, right? And it's sickening because even the games coming out of like woke studios, non-woke studios, anti-woke, pro-consumer, anti-consumer, whatever they want to label themselves, they're all loaded full of premium currency, microtransactions. Yeah, boobs, Remy. And for the record, I got no problem with boobs. I love boobs, but the problem is that that's all there is to a lot of these games. Vindictus Defying Fate, First Descendant, Dungeon Stalkers, 3 games that I have tried in the recent past to play demos and alphas on, and every one of them was just meh. They were very simple, very dumb, very sloppy games, but they had a lot of jiggle and big boobs, and that was about the extent of it, right? And of course, every one of these games, again, an Amazing Season Games, I think, is making several different games like this, all have massively predatory monetization, and they're, again, all live service titles, which is why, you're seeing recently a ton of negative reviews in the past week that this game has come out. To the point now where I think it's sitting at mixed with 16,000 reviews on Steam, and the player base is just like abandoning this game, right? They're just gone. They don't even care anymore. Like, currently playing this game, you got 31,000. The peak 10 days ago, 132,000. You're already dropping down to 100,000 less players. Boobs bad, moobs even worse. I don't want to see moobs. Please, no moves at all. Good starting point is very user-friendly to people used to Windows and Linux Mint. It's built off the Ubuntu setup, and it helps to set up your exe shells. Oh, interesting. Linux Mint looks like Windows. Oh, well, I could take a look at that at some point. I don't know if I'm going to build my next computer or just buy one. It's going to be a couple years down the road. It's going to be expensive. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. I'm probably going to have to sell a kidney or something. But at some point in a couple of years, I'm going to get myself something good. Ubuntu is nice and easy. Okay, cool. Buy a second or external hard drive and download a bootable OS for Linux. Oh, I could mess around with that, couldn't I? The higher the game budget, the more wokies there are. Now, that is true. I think that is a fair assessment. Ender Lilies would be a great indie game stream. So you're telling me Gooners don't want to pay for stupid BS? That's another Last Descendant, but even worse. Basically, I'm not going to say worse than First Descendant, because the gameplay part of Mecha Break I thought was really good. I really enjoyed the gameplay of Mecha Break. But unfortunately, it just seems that the heavy monetization has just pissed off a lot of people. I don't know. I'll have to look up Ender Lilies. I don't know anything about that one. Start with the thumb drive with Linux running on it so you can tour the system. Yeah, I'll figure something out, guys. Again, I don't know if it's going to be something I actually try to tackle in the near future or not. We'll see. I got too many other irons in the fire, too many other fish to fry. Insert your metaphor here. I've got too much other shit going on. So, on the same topic, I don't know what the hell this game is. I have no idea. This is from basednerds.net. The game that will end wokeness. Game journalists must be seething right now. I saw this a couple days ago and I had to bookmark this. Does anybody here know what this is? I have no idea.
Presents are the best way to show someone how much you care.
Like what the hell am I looking at here?
You can point to and say, "Hey man, I love you. This many dollars."
Brutal combat, great music, soulful story. Patriot for the one. I'm keeping my clothes on, but I thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, dude. Is there an article talking about young Americans spending less on games? I saw something about that. Given the hentai stripper money was appropriate. But see, here's the thing. Do I care if this kind of game exists? No. Absolutely not. I don't care. Yeah, Mecha Break, honestly, for the gameplay aspect of it, has great potential. This... I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I have no idea. Worst possible time for the chat pop-up. Is it a Pokemon game? I have no idea. I have less than no idea what it is. I mean, Patriot, I like women. I like thick women. And even I'm looking at this going, that's just gross. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I don't get how this is a thing. Okay, it's called Horizon Walker. Game that will end wokeness and it's more gotcha slop. Yeah. Too much body fat? I don't mind that part. Turning into Bryce Dallas Howard. I thought Bryce. Here's the thing. I have no use for Bryce Dallas Howard. Like in the face, I think she's kind of boring looking. I don't mind the thickness at all. Speaking of, okay, going from one extreme to the other. So I guess we were getting a Ghost of Yotei state of play yesterday. I don't know. I've been super busy all week with work, super stressed out. I knew nothing about this. I had no idea we were getting gameplay. So there's this 47-second clip gameplay that I've not watched yet. Let me see if I can turn the video quality up. That's 720p is as good as it gets. I apologize. So this apparently is new gameplay. Ooh, Liv Tyler. I like Liv Tyler, although she's probably pretty old by now. I shouldn't say that. I'm older than she is, I'm sure. Why is there no audio? Do I have the tab muted? Probably have the tab muted. Where are we at here? No, there's just no audio in this clip. Is there another clip I can play? Let me see here.
Secrets of Ezo. To survive, you'll need to master a variety of weapons, using
maybe this is the actual gameplay
to
clip.
overcome the odds and take revenge as the Onryo. Ghost of Yotei comes out on October 2nd.
Yeah,
Thank
Erica,
you
the woke
so
dog
much
game.
for watching.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the actual gameplay clip or not, but that other one had no sound. I don't know. Liv Tyler is now 500 pounds. Reddit. Woman Warrior will almost never jive with me, but here's the problem, dude. Here's the thing. I did not play Ghost of Tsushima until this last year. I had never played it before. And then I started playing, I'm like, okay, the game seems cool, seems interesting. And then as I was researching it to make my Ghost of Yotei videos, I'm like, I don't think it makes sense for people to be calling this game woke when Ghost of Tsushima itself was as well. So I can understand calling it woke, and if it is, it is. But I'm saying is, like, I think Ghost of Tsushima was also technically kind of woke too, given the fact that there was a lot of, again, the strong warrior women, the lesbian women and stuff, things that felt artificially forced into the game. I think people just didn't realize it at the time because of how, I mean, well done the game was, how beautiful it was, the combat, the storyline, the characters, all that. I would argue that the first game suffered from some of it as well, and people just didn't notice. So then you go to Ghost of Yotei, where you, again, switch characters, and it's now based on a woman, which is fine, I guess. They were warrior women in the first game, so if you're going to be okay with the first game, I see no problem with having a female samurai in the second game, whatever. But again, people pointing out that you have the senior writer on Ghost of Yotei, worked as a senior narrative designer at BioWare for 8 years. They helped write the Dragon Age Veilguard, Anthem. Then you've got, of course, John Dombrow, senior writer at Sucker Punch. Yeah, worked on Dragon Age Veilguard. Didn't like Ghost of Tsushima. General most narrative female warrior, regardless if it's woke, never feels right. I would say in fantasy settings is different. I would say fantasy, like, again, like the whole Red Sonja thing or whatever, I don't have a problem with fantasy female characters. I have a problem with games that are more like grounded in reality, more actual physical combat where there's no magic, there's no powers, there's no different races of people, they're all humans set in some sort of historical time period where you then have women who somehow are just as tough as men. That to me doesn't make any sense. Hey, Cage, welcome in, buddy. A lot of people are completely blind to it unless someone they watch points it out. And that's the thing about the end. I hadn't played it. So I'm like, I'm going and you're going to cheat on me and go watch another stream. Don't worry, dude. Don't know if it's woke or not. Yeah. No, again, a lot of times it feels forced. You're 100% right about that. DB Wild's gonna go cheat on me. It's okay. I'm not gonna stay up super late. From what I heard, the Ghost of Tsushima game was all about accepting, or all about consequences, and this is not all about not accepting consequences. Interesting. Skyrim and Granblue Fantasy. Ari Link is different. Yeah. Yeah, again, for me personally, female warriors in anything, I don't care as long as it's more of a fantasy setting, I guess. Sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. Yeah, magic and big ass swords are different and not woke. Yeah, exactly. I think that's more my opinion on the whole thing. Mutants, androids, Middle Eastern cultivation, there are exceptions, but most times it's painting a woman like she's a man. Women and men are very different. True. Stop barking. It's just the neighbor. Come here. Come here. Get up here. Come here. Come here. Oh. I had to scramble him an egg just to get him to eat his dinner tonight. I don't know. He gets weird when it gets warm. Stop licking my ear. Stop licking my ear. If you can still enjoy it, then I guess that's what's important, but you can still criticize the bad parts for being bad. Yeah, exactly. For me personally, the female warriors and lesbian characters on Ghost of Tsushima, that wouldn't stop me from playing the game. That wouldn't make me go, oh, this game sucks because X, Y, or Z. But I think it's just worth pointing out because, again, I think that there are trends, you know? Trends are noticeable. I don't want to play it again because this Yotei looks like copy or DLC that Erika Ishii and other big red flags. I said Middle Eastern cultivation. I mean, Eastern, the middle part is inaccurate. Chinese mythos, Q-Pup. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he's a handful. He's 5'1" girl boss who's probably 120 pounds. Can't fight a man who's 6'6". Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about Yotei, the upcoming PS3 game. Yes. So even the shill accounts, Rhino the Bouncer is saying, not very impressed with Ghost of Yotei. It's just more of the same thing. When it could have been a direct sequel to Tsushima where you grow with Jin, this feels detached without bringing anything new. I'll still get it for the world/gameplay loop. You'll get it because you're going to get a free copy from the developers because you're a shill. That's why you'll get it. Howdy, Hook. Let's see here. So Kata said, everyone's screaming Jin's story is done, acting like he still didn't have to go to the mainland and continue to push back the Mongol invasion. Kata, you can't call Mongols mongrels. Asmund said, Ghost of Yotei looks a lot like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, you're not wrong there, Quillpig. You're not entirely wrong, okay? So, all right, somebody on Twitter, somebody who's not, again, not a wokey, not somebody who's being an ass about it, somebody who genuinely was pointing out to me, apparently the anime, there's an anime from Samurai, I think it's called Samurai Champloo. I don't know, I've never heard of it because I'm not an anime guy. Shinichiro Watanabe was the director, right? Or I guess director of music for that, I don't know. And they have lo-fi hip-hop beats in there. So Ghost of Yotei is now going to feature a new Watanabe mode, which plays lo-fi hip-hop tracks as you explore. Okay? Now, I don't know if this is going to get copyright claimed or not. We'll see.
Lastly, we've partnered with the director of Samurai Champloo, Shinichiro Watanabe. Turn this mode on to listen to some original lo-fi tracks directed by Watanabe himself.
I just don't think this fits the vibe of the game. Right, so, Burner, you're right. The music itself is fine. Maybe not something I would listen to a lot, but if I had that playing in the background of, like, my stream, I would totally be fine with that. Like, as background filler music, cool. It's relaxing, it's chill, it's got a good beat to it, cool, whatever. And I'm not a fan of hip-hop. It doesn't fit the scene, the setting. It doesn't fit the environment. It doesn't fit the entire feel of these games. Yeah, it doesn't jive. It's kind of like how they had the black and white mode in the first game. And that's very cool. Like, when I started playing it with that mode on, I'm like, okay, I don't want to go back to color because it is so cool. And then I would switch back to playing the game in color, and it was, like, breathtaking. It's like, holy shit, this game's beautiful, right? So I'm okay with that in my elevator, nowhere else. Yeah. Exactly, right. They just wanted to associate this with something else people like. Right. Yotei equals me on hold trying to call my bank. It's vibe LARPing. Oh my god. That's fantastic. Yeah, none of this fits. It's like I don't care if there's a 1,000 anime like black Afro samurai crossover things with hip hop and that's what you're into. That's fine. It doesn't fit what I'm watching. It doesn't fit. Belongs behind an AI voice reading me a summary of news. Yes. Went from Akira Kurosawa style to this. Kurosawa, thank you. That's the name I was. I don't know why I couldn't think of Kurosawa. That style, that mode was so awesome on Ghost of Tsushima. And what's great about that was switching back from that to the color, and then you realize just how beautiful the game is. I should run it now on my new graphics card. That'd probably be pretty awesome. Trash music in realism Japan. Well, again, I'm not a fan of anything hip hop at all, but that's just me personally. I do not have a Ghibli Souls game yet. I don't know. That would be interesting to find out. So a lot of people have taken issue again from the beginning with Erika Ishii being a complete lunatic. She's been the one that's been out there saying F TERFs and abolish the police and all this other stuff. She's like a radical, hardcore, man-hating feminist, right? So somebody put this out there. It says, was it that difficult? And of course, they swapped out Erika Ishii's face for an actual attractive female Japanese woman, right? Which is crazy because when you look at her, like in the bottom of this picture here, it's bad. It's so bad, it's not even funny. It doesn't sound like a Persona music to me. In the anime they scratched when they rewind time, they made the anime around Japanese hip-hop. Oh, interesting. Yeah, music isn't trash. I would expect it in a jazz bard in a Persona game. No, dude, honestly, like, if that music was in the back of, like, golf with your friends or something. Ew, brother, ew. Yep, there you go. Well, then you of course got Tati Gabrielle, who's going to be in the Heretic Prophet, whatever the hell that name is called. So again, December pointing out, where's the lie? Honestly, like this used to be bog standards years ago and is still standard for male characters. You took the actors, put them into the engine, and you make them look good while still retaining their look. Problem is, Erika Ishii doesn't look good, so you're not going to put her in there and make her attractive. No exaggerated makeup, no double D tits, just some small tweaks to enhance presentation, same as some mother effers do with their Instagram pictures, but now you can't even share this without being called all manner of isms. It's true. It's entirely true. Yeah, the self-insert. And again, I have already said before, I'll say it again, I am not a fan of making actors resemble, or characters resemble the person playing them in the game. Make a unique character. Make a unique character from scratch. Make it the way you want it to look, and then go from there. And then find the best voice actor, man, woman, they, them, he, her, black, white, or Indian to play the role. You know, I don't care what they look like or what's between their legs if they're playing a role, but stop making your characters in games resemble the voice actors, because then you also have to worry about crossover of their personal politics, their beliefs, how much influence they're having on the script, the story, because they're no longer just playing a character. They're playing themselves in a game. And in a game like this, that's the kind of shit people are worried about seeing. I don't think it's going to flop, dude. I think it'll still make money. I don't think it'll make them as much money as the first game. Like, hands down. I have no doubt the first game, they probably won't touch the first game's sales records. Kind of like how Last of Us 1, between the remaster and the original, sold far more copies than The Last of Us 2. Not to mention, I remember years ago hearing how Last of Us 2, a lot of people were returning their copies of the game, to the video game stores. I hate tying a character to an actual actor. Raging Furball, I freaking hate it so much. I hate it so much. Yeah, they make them look like the voice actors to push their politics. And this kind of goes back to what Marek Tominsky was saying about how a lot of times with live service games, the developers are more woke, and so a lot of times you'll have live service games like, again, Call of Duty, putting in a lot of lunatics in the game. And then, of course, agreeing with their politics on a lot of this shit. I love the jazz song from Persona 4 Royale. Persona has a lot of good songs. Unfortunately, like most games, always use female vocalists. That's because women have pretty voices, man. Clean slate without the baggage, yes. Okay, so we were watching, my wife and I, we got home from, because my wife helped me at work today. We came home, walked the dog, we ran and got Chipotle for dinner, came back home. Kids are at the in-laws, so we're just sitting watching TV, having our dinner here, just kind of relaxing, which we never get to do. And so I put on Hulu, I just put on Just Shoot Me, right? And that show was so funny back in the day. And Mark Hamill was actually a guest star on an episode of Just Shoot Me. And watching that man and trying to not think about all the retarded, insane, unhinged things he's tweeted and said over the last 10 years was really, really hard. Like, there's a lot of times this whole idea of separating art from the artist, which I try to do a lot. I try to do it as much as I can. With certain people, it's really hard. I'm not saying men's voices sound bad. Trust me, there's plenty of male vocalists I love. But I understand why they use female voices a lot of time for singing. Capcom's Onimusha Way of the Sword. I mean, I never played Onimusha, so I don't know. We'll see. I never played Outer Worlds. Self-insert or self-inserts, maybe second to Tosh. Oh, that's bad. The game will have intense coverage for 3 weeks, then fade away. Dude, Burner, it will be... We've reached 3 million players in the first 3 days. 5 million players in the first week. Yeah, Just Shoot Me was a good show. Yeah, I mean, Mark Hamill, he makes it difficult. Like, far more difficult than it needs to be, you know? Like I said, I mean, hell, I listen to singers that I know hate my politics, and I don't care, because I genuinely like the music. Oh, De Niro. Oh, God, dude. De Niro's one of the... Yeah, Robert De Niro, and he's fantastic in so many different things, but it's like, some of these guys make it really hard. So... that being said, where's this cringe video? Okay, so going back to what we were talking about with like Mecha Break, I do worry, and I love this comparison. You got Ghost of Yotei. I don't know if this is an actual pseudo armor from the game or not, but it looks ridiculous on her face, seeing as this is such an ugly, butch, masculine face. And then you got Wu Chang Fallen Feathers over here. Again, I don't know that Wu Chang is going to be an amazing game. I don't know that it's going to be the best game ever. It probably won't be as good as First Berserker or Black Myth Wukong. Probably not as good as Stellar Blade, but we'll see. I don't know. That being said, just looking at the side-by-side of these, while I am sick and tired of every game being about tits and ass and being like, oh, jiggle physics, yay, we've never seen jiggle physics before, and then hiding a bad game behind, you know, a nice rack or whatever, it's not even close, like, aesthetically night and day, you know? You know, dude, I will add those to my list of games. Dude, I've just got so many freaking, oh my god, I've got a backlog coming out my ears. I've got years of other games to catch up on. I watched Gilmore Girls while playing through hard sections of grindy games. Dude, I've watched every episode of Gilmore Girls with my wife, but now she's currently, like, when she works in the other room, she's, you know, working on her orders and stuff that she gets through her website. And I'll walk in and she's watching Gilmore Girls, and I'm like, dude, I forgot how retardedly, progressively liberal the show was, like blatantly in your face liberal. The whole entire show is like pure propaganda, man. It's Nightmare and Day. That game's made you want to replay Jade Empire. Erica's a flat board and not even a pretty faced flat board. Oh man. Yeah, no, again, Wu Chang might be a great game. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't personally, like, I'm getting so used to a lot of these games feeling cookie cutter at this point. Especially the ones coming out of, again, Chinese and Korean studios. You kind of feel like, okay, so they have a formula that they're going with now, and that's a good formula. I'm not saying it's a bad formula. It's a good formula. But at what point does it start to get repetitive, you know? He had a really good scene in Bad Santa. Lauren Graham? I don't think I saw Bad Santa. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's ironic how Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy were as opposite in terms of professionalism as the Joker and Batman. And yet, Raging for a Ball, Kevin Conroy was gay, pro-trans, very progressive, very pro-LGBT, but he didn't go out of his way to blatantly attack people, you know? What happened to pretty flat-chested women? Mila Jovovich got old and crazy. I don't know. She wanted to play Mrs. Claus. Oh god. All right. So, of course, Pirate Nation's saying, "Will you play Ghost of Yotei?" And of course, you've got Erika Ishii blocks everybody. Abolish the police. It's unconscionable to allow this racist institution that terrorizes the citizens they're sworn to protect. Abolish the police. Funny thing is, this was in 2020 when the police were locking people down for having too many people at Thanksgiving dinner, and she's over here calling police racist. I'm like, okay. All right, lady, sure. And of course, like I said, she famously went on that rant saying F TERFs and this and that. So, but this right here, guys, this is a fantastic video. This is beautiful. This is poetry in motion. I need to do something with this. I need to make a short out of this. I might do that actually after. I might make a short after I get done with the stream before I go to bed. I wonder if there's sound. I don't think I've tried to listen with the sound on. Luke was great and it was funny from time to time. Or maybe I was too high much when I watched with my girlfriend. It's not that funny. The thing about Gilmore Girls is the humor is all right. And then it's like the entire show's humor is Lauren Graham and the girl that plays Rory having the longest, most retarded run-on sentences imaginable. And then, like, the entire supporting cast, everybody in Stars Hollow is fucking annoying. Like, they're the worst supporting actors of all time. I hate Sean Gunn. I hate the guy that plays the mayor. I hate the girl, the woman that owns the dance studio. I hate the Hispanic or, well, I don't even know what ethnicity gal she is that's always, like, at the town hall meetings. I can't stand any of the freaking supporting actors in Gilmore Girls. But yes, Luke was awesome. You're right about that. Okay, so there's no audio in this video either. I wonder why Pirate Nation doesn't have any audio in his videos. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Like, honest to God, I don't know what I'm watching. Also, if this is Erika Ishii, which I believe it is, she's gotten chonkers. Like, seriously chonkers. For an Asian woman, no less. Her character is what? Named Atsu? Why don't they just call the character Fatsu or Fatsu or something? Attractive women, great banter, horrible decisions made by stupid women. I don't know if I'd call it great banter. I think honestly, if there was a word for it, the script is almost like self-aggrandizing. I don't know. In Japanese, Onimusha is a demon warrior. Okay. Both Supernatural guys were in there, yeah. Sam in Supernatural was not very good at the start. Actually, but the funny part about it was in Gilmore Girls, Dean was, or Sam was Dean. No, Dean was not in Gilmore Girls. What's his face? The actor that plays Dean on Supernatural. I can't remember his name. Holy crap. She's a pear shape, yeah. Hey, David Chen. Dean was never in Gilmore Girls. Dude, the first 3 or 4 seasons of Supernatural were actually really good. For cheap, shitty, like, CW type TV, they were legitimately decent episodes every time I saw them. Yeah, Jensen Ackles was in Smallville, yes. I'm like, I would remember him in Gilmore Girls. Yep, and Jared Padalecki was Dean in Gilmore Girls, yes. There was a Supernatural anime. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, you guys see that Jensen Ackles is getting his own spin-off show prequel from The Boys? I swear to God, I'm so sick of this current state of, like, television and streaming. Dean was in Dawson's Creek? Dude, I have not watched Dawson's Creek in probably, like, 10 or 12 years. I don't remember. Jensen Ackles was in Dawson's Creek? I'll have to ask my wife about that. She's a samurai pig, like a spider pig does whatever a samurai pig does. Oh, man. You know, here's the thing. I would feel bad about picking on her weight at all if she wasn't single or lesbian or childless and had complete control over her weight. Like, woman, you should be able to, you know, be in shape. DEI not even once. Wouldn't. Oh man. Presenting your new protagonist, this fat guy. Yeah, so Jensen Ackles is getting, because apparently he was like, I think it's like a Captain America thing in The Boys. He was frozen or whatever, preserved, because he is one of the characters' dads in The Boys. So he's going to be in his own show set back in the 50s, I guess. Oh yeah, he was in House of Wax. Oh my god, that honestly, House of Wax wasn't the worst horror film I've seen, but it was pretty retarded. As shows go, it was pretty stupid. Not gonna lie, I wish it was better. And of course, Paris Hilton was beyond awful in that. Oh, what else did we have to talk about tonight? Holy shit, guys! I think we're actually done, and it's not even late. Like, whoa, that's crazy. Paris Hilton's best work. Is that really saying much? You know, guys, remember, Paris Hilton was also in Supernatural. She was in that episode playing herself as, I think she was like a demon, pretending to be Paris Hilton, or had possessed Paris Hilton. I don't know. If I knew I was going to be in a video game, I'd have an IV of steroids strapped to my arm, especially given the fact that they do a lot of that motion capture stuff, right? Where they do the 3D scans of people's bodies and shit. Oh, yeah, Quillpig, Jensen, Padalecki, Misha Collins, I think his name is, played Cass on Supernatural. Those three retards, they were all freaking campaigning for the Beto O'Rourke in Texas. Yeah. 177 pounds, 5'8" and a half feet tall. I'm 99%. What's the other 1%? No, my wife and I were just talking about Misha earlier today, because apparently he is bisexual, but he was also married when he came out and said that, and then he and his wife got divorced. So everyone's trying to figure out, like, wait, is that the reason his wife left him, because he came out as bisexual, and then she's like, yeah, I'm not cool with you banging other dudes while we're together. I don't know. That could be it, right? Anyways, guys, I'm thinking maybe tomorrow night we can do a game stream. Start replaying RDO yesterday, super fun. Also looks tons better than Yotei. There's a lot of games that are gonna be better than Yotei, and I'm not saying that Ghost of Yotei is gonna be bad, and I'm not gonna say it's gonna be like a massive downgrade from Ghost of Tsushima, because again, like I've said, I think Ghost of Tsushima had some woke crap in there to begin with, and people just didn't really notice it at the time. So that being said, I have no interest in playing Ghost of Yotei. I'm not gonna buy it. No, not a Ninja Turtles game. I've got indie games I'm supposed to be playing. I've got games that I had there's a roguelike I was supposed to wait till today or tomorrow to even show gameplay of. So there's options, dude. Remember seeing a bunch of bumper stickers that said Beto eats tacos with a fork? Oh man. Yeah, well, I live in Washington, so I can't pick on your politicians too much, but my god, some of these ones that get national headlines, holy shit, some of these guys are beyond cringe. Fake Skater Boy. Yeah. Fake CDC hacker. So if I'm not too tired, we'll do some games tomorrow night. If I am too tired, we'll push that back to Sunday. But like I said, I have to get up early and work tomorrow, so I'm probably going to turn in here. I knew when Grandmaster Rate went quiet that Beta was full of shit. Rate's a lefty. He was quiet because he didn't want to say Beta was lying his ass off. Oh, yeah. Do I ever finish any game on stream? Never. I was just looking back at my old streams, and I started playing Expedition 33 like 10 weeks ago. Dude, for real. And I'm most of the way through the second act, and I have not gone back and finished that way either. The reality is I don't have that much time to play games. Last night, I got done recording that video. I hated every minute of it, got done editing it, uploaded it, and then I played Starship Troopers Extermination for about 45 minutes, and I went to bed. The night before that, I played some... I can't remember which game I played because I was trying to get some background footage, so I was playing one of the games I was supposed to be playing. I don't know. The Subnautica Subnautica news, I haven't even looked into yet. Problem is, Ted Cruz's number of priorities Israel, not Texans or America. Well, you're not wrong there. Nice name, though, by the way. Trollmaster Mike 6969. That's you might as well have a 420 in there as well. Brutal honesty. I mean, I would love, dude. Okay, guys. If I was some big mega streamer bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars streaming or whatever, of course I would finish games. Of course I would. It's, you know, I love playing video games. I wish I had time to sit and stream a video game for 10 hours. I just don't. See Oblivion. See, he's got it. He understands. I could finally play the games. I'm living in that perpetual meme of South Park, the World of Warcraft episode, where he's like, hey, now we can finally play the game. It's like, I'm doing all these other things in life, covering gaming news, once in a while doing a gaming stream, making videos, trying my hardest to keep up with my kids and life and work and all this other shit. And it's like, oh, wait, we could just stream a video game? What's that like, you know? Sampling games is fine. I know it's fine. And the thing is, too, a lot of what I like to do is when I sample games, as you so eloquently put it, and I use that as background footage in different videos, a lot of those are indie games that even if I don't get very far into the game, I had, on one of my last videos, when I played that Nightmare Frontier game, I had dozens of people in the comments asking, hey, what game is that? What game is that? What game is that? And the devs from Nightmare Frontier even popped in the comments and said, hey, thanks for playing the game. You know? So, the Last Ronin, dude, I need to pick up that comic. As a, you know, classic Ninja Turtles fan growing up, I need to pick up that comic. Or I guess it's a manga, isn't it? All work and no games makes Tebow a doughboy. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, Asian Peers, I will try to be on tomorrow. And if I can't make it tomorrow, I will shoot for Sunday. I think it's coming next year. That could be pretty cool. Here, I'm going to grab a tab over here. I'm going to go, I don't know, let me see who's online. Now that I know how to redirect. Let me see. Well, Leon is doing his late night thing. Is there anybody else that I know that's streaming or not? Oh, Smash is streaming. Let's just go raid him, I guess. All right. YouTube Studio. I think I can do this, guys. I think I know what I'm doing. I should have set this up before the stream started, but oh well. Customization. Redirect. All right, there we go. And saved. Done. Hopefully that works. If not, oh well, Smash doesn't need my viewers. He'll be fine. Don't like Smash, he's anti-Semitic. I'm not even gonna touch that one. Oh my god, you just made you made me chuckle, Quillpick. I'm not even gonna lie, that was actually funny. There's one more. The Last Ronin live action is in development. No, Hook, I think he was being sarcastic. That there's lore on that. Anyways, I'm gonna go, guys. I appreciate y'all for hanging, especially given that I didn't plan on doing a stream. I wasn't sure if we were going to. So I will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow. And if not, I will shoot for Sunday. I'll try to let you guys know between Discord and on the YouTube notifications and all that. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end things, get some sleep, because I got to get up early for work tomorrow. Hit the like button? Yeah, hit the like button. There you go. Do that. It's the least you guys can do for my hard work, right? Yeah, hit it twice. Hit like twice and dislike once. No, wait. Dislike twice, like once. There you go. Oh, no, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate y'all. Across YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Well, sorry. Kick and Twitch. Fuck you. I don't even care at this point. But on Twitter and, of course, on Rumble, thank you guys for hanging out, and I will catch you guys on